Welcome to the last part of this SAP-PPM overview. The intention of this course is that you to invest a few minutes learning and understanding the basic concepts instead of go through 100 of pages to gain an understanding about SAP-PPM. Clearly, you can take this overview as a whole material to get a certification or to set up, because I won't explain nothing regarding configuration. Please remember, this is only an overview. Let me introduce myself. I am Vicente Fajardo. I have been SAP Portfolio and Project Management for the last 25 years. I have done green implementations not only in Mexico but in 9 different LATAM countries and in the States. As well, I have been involved in international SAP rollouts projects in the biggest LATAM economies like Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, and so on. And as you can see, I am a SAP Certified Application Associate for S/4HANA Portfolio and Project Management, and SAP Certified Associate for SAP Activate Project Management, and SAP Certified Specialist for SAP Activate for Cloud Solutions Project Manager. Finally, I must tell that the information presented here was gotten from SAP course S4125 ENCOL. Welcome again. This is our course roadmap. As you can see, in the first lesson, I will give an overview or introduction to the integration concepts. You can see here the 8 lessons that we must follow in order to have a full understanding about integration in SAP PPM. As you can see, we will talk only about integration, so it is very important that you to understand the previous lessons in order to follow the whole explanations that we will provide during this course. The first 3 lessons are about integration between SAP PPM Portfolio Management and SAP Project Management. I have told you that this integration is natural because we are talking about the same product. Nevertheless, there are some guides that must be followed, and we must explain the different ways and tools that the software provides to do it. Let's start. Hello everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this third lesson, integration. In the previous lessons, we have seen the way we can set our strategic portfolio for the whole company projects. So we have seen the way we can create the structure, and we have reviewed some important functionalities as authorization, roles, or versions, for example. Then in the second lesson, we learn the way we can deal with operated portfolios using the SAP Portfolio and Project Management. In this second lesson, we learn the way we can establish the structure using the different objects. We have learned different functionalities, as example, evaluations or versions, authorizations, cost planning, capacity planning. We have learned all those concepts in order to manage in the best way possible the different projects that as a business we are facing daily. Now, in this lesson, we will learn the way we can integrate SAP PPM with other functionality. As you can see here in this image, we can integrate SAP FICO functionality with strategic portfolio, and we can integrate SAP project system again with strategic portfolio or CATS or SAP DMS, part of SAP softwares. But as well, in the same way that we can integrate with SAP functionality, we can integrate with external software or with external project management system. In this image, you can see that we can have integration with Microsoft Project. And as well, we must integrate strategic portfolios with our operative project management. So during the next lesson, I will explain the way we can establish all these connectivities. Well, in the past slide, I have shown that we can establish links with this SAP software. Those are the most common ones, but as well, we can set links with other software, for example, SAP Analysis for Microsoft Excel, or SAP Copilot, or SAP AP, or Jira. And as well, we can establish a link with SAP Innovation Management. In the following sessions, I will go deeply in the explanation of this link. The objective of this second lesson is to explain the way we must link portfolio management and project management. You can see in this figure that both of them are part of SAP PPM, so the integration must flow smoothly. In the following slides, you will learn that we have some configuration options to set up this integration. In this slide, I want to go deeply in the explanation of the linking between portfolio item in strategic portfolio and portfolio definition in project management. We have saw this linking in the previous lessons, but in this slide I will go deeply in the explanation. Please remember that we have two ways to create this linking. One of them is that we can separately create a portfolio item and a project management project, and then link them together. You can establish this subsequent link from the portfolio item by using the Related Objects tab. And please remember that the integration is not made only at the level of portfolio item and project definition. We can link phases with phases from operational project with decision points in portfolio item. And again, to make that relationship, we can use the related objects tab as well. The second way that we have to create this integration is automatically, but the automatically can be done in two different stages. The first one, if you want the project management project to be created at the same time as portfolio item, then set the indicator create project on saving before you save. Or if you want to create the project management project in a level stage, then you must not set that indicator, and you can set the indicator create project on saving later to create and assign a project management project. Depending on synchronization settings, the planned start and end date of the portfolio item is transferred to the definition of the project management project. Because templates in project management always contains a reference to a project type, you must assign a project type to the item type of portfolio item in customizing. Once we have linked portfolio definition and project type, as well as decision points and phases, we must link two important buckets. One of them is resources and the other one is capacity planning. As a project manager, you have to manage the resources consumption that the project is doing and to inform to the stakeholders on daily basis the uses of them. This is the best way to prevent project deviation, and if someone arrives, we will have information online to take the best possible decision and to tackle ASAP. Well, as you can see here, this slide is plenty of information. My intention is that in only one shot you can get all the concepts that are needed to understand the integration of resources between operational projects and strategic projects. Using PPM capacity planning, you can plan requirements for capacities or resources for individual periods at the portfolio bucket level, item level, and initiative level. This planning refers to capacity categories, groups, and views. Please remember that for capacities planning, we have three tiers. The upper one are the views, the second tier is categories, and the third tier is groups. And obviously, we can define it freely according to our business needs. You can manually perform capacity planning at portfolio item level or derive it from role demands or resource assignment of project management project. My recommendation is that you take advantage of the integration between both of them and use this integration of resources. In that way, you will use the whole capacity that we have in SAP regarding integrations with other SAP functionalities or modules. Please remember that you integrate role requirements and staffing with the field role function. Maybe you remember that when we create the role type, we create for that role type a role function. During this lesson, I told you that this role function is very important because using a role function, we can make the link between combination of capacity groups and capacity view in a strategic project. So here you can see the useful that the role function is. Resource data can be integrated in two ways. The first is the role demand and resource assignment, and the second is to determine actual capacity requirements from the confirmed activities. So one is related with resources assignment and the other one is related with activities. Talking a bit about the first one, the role demand and resource assignments can be mapped to combination of capacity groups and views. You can do this using a role function that you can assign to a role within the role definition as we saw here. And the second is to determine actual capacity requirements from the confirmed activities. This requires integration with FICO system in which activity values were entered using the Cross Application Timesheet or CITS. So, as you can see, it looks that it's simple to make the integration. The only thing that we need to do is to assign a role function to the role type and then make the link between capacity groups and views, or we can make the link using the integration with FICO system in which activity values were entered using the CITS. In this lesson, we will study the way we can link SAP-PPM with SAP-PS or project system. It is very well known that some companies are using SAP-PS for a long time ago, and nowadays huge projects has been managed using PS elements as word breakdown structures or WBS. So the companies can continue using this functionality, but now they can integrate with portfolio management in order to have a full view of the business projects. Well, to create the first link, the red one, we can do it in both ways. The first way is automatic creation, and the second way is manual assignment. So for automatic creation, at the time that we save the item, depending on the configuration settings, you can choose a template to create the PS project. A project definition and subordinate WBS elements are created. And again, depending on the configuration, WBS elements are linked to item decision points. Network components documents and PS text are not copied from the PS project template. Please remember that in SAP project system we have a project definition, and then we have a hierarchy using WBS elements or word breakdown structure. So we can create the link manually. You can assign an existing PS project to an item. First, you create a link to PS project definition, and later you can assign WBS elements and decision points. The second integration, as we can see here in the brown shape, is regarding attributes and status synchronization. Attributes mapping. Some attributes of the item are mapped to attributes of the PS project definition, vice versa. Some attributes of the PS project are mapped to attributes of the item and decision points. Synchronization is based on decision flow management, with each a common function of PPM. Status synchronization. In PS, a status can allow or forbid a business transaction. So, the status of items and decision points is only for information purposes. With PS project integration to an item, you can synchronize the status between both objects. You can synchronize the status between WBS elements and decision points as well. Regarding the third integration, the yellow shape, integration of financial data of PS projects. Financial data of PS project assigned to a portfolio items can be transferred to financial planning of the respective items. Financial integration allows you to transfer budgets, planned costs, and actual costs to portfolio items financial planning. In fact, FICO integration is based on object links similar to PS integration. However, different object link types are configured for FICO integration and for PS integration. Welcome to this fifth lesson, SAP Financial Integration. Again, we will study this diagram flow. As you remember, in the previous lesson, we have seen the way we can link strategic portfolio projects with operational projects. As well, we have seen the integration of resources with strategic capacity planning. We have one lesson for this link, another lesson for this one. And in the lesson regarding integration SAP-PPM with SAP-PS, we saw that the project item can be linked with PS project definition, and WBS elements should be linked with decision points in the portfolio item. So now we will see this link between project management and SAP FICO. For detailed cost planning and for the posting of actual costs, the portfolio projects are linked with work breakdown structure or WBS from PS, or in the simple case, with internal orders from SAP controlling. Depending on the settings of portfolio projects, these links to controlling objects are done automatically or manually. So, on the basis of the link, plan data of portfolio projects such as planned required capacities and costs or revenue rates is based on the linked controlling objects and used here for automatic cost and revenue planning. The plan data can now be supplemented at the level of controlling objects and budgeting can be performed. Please remember that in the early phases of the project, we forecast financial data for portfolio items and portfolio buckets. So if the tail plan data is available later to your project planning, it should also be possible to evaluate this data in the financial planning of PPM and base decision on it. After the release of the projects, part of the implementation phase of the projects, the resources of the project can have automatic data such as assigned tasks implemented in the work list in the timesheet cross-application timesheet CITS. The resources can then use this information to confirm the work they have been performed. Please remember that in previous lessons I explained that we can download the information regarding activities to SAP CITS. So after this download take place, the resources can use it for to inform the activity that they have been performed. Please recall that during the execution of the project, the resources must confirm information in the project. So that confirmation is done using CITS system. That confirmation is only for tasks and checklist items. I just want to explain this process flow. Please, as you can see here, we have the project definition, we have the tasks, the phases, and the tasks. And then some project roles are assigned to the task. Those project roles refers to persons. Those persons make the time recording using CITs during the execution of the project. Then that information from CITs will be transferred to the task and will be transferred to the WBS element in SAP project system. And remember that we did the integration between between project definition and 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 the project in SAP PS as well. So in that way, the information is transferred between all the different softwares, and this figure represents the way they integrating between them. Welcome to this sixth lesson, integrating SAP portfolio management with SAP ERP financial data. In this slide, we will focus only in this integration between SAP FICO and SAP SAP Strategic Portfolio. So, what is the objective of this integration? Well, we recreate data about the actual costs incurred or commitments for monitoring and controlling PPM, particularly in the implementation phase of the projects. Please remember that we must create some reports, we must establish some thresholds, and we need information in order to report data, actual data, on daily basis or online. So that is why it is very important to establish this integration. To be able to evaluate detailed account data from FICO in PPM, use the FICO interface of PPM. So I will point out what is happening here between SAP FICO and Strategic Portfolio. The program that is used to transfer information between both of them is this one. Please remember that in the previous lesson we studied the way we can create object links. So after the object link between portfolio item and portfolio and controlling object is created, so the uploading of data is controlled by a program that is usually scheduled as background job in the PPM core system. The program is executed in PPM core system or scheduled as background job there. Based on the object links, the accounting data of the controlling objects are then determined from the FICO system, transported into the PPM system, and is saved here in the table RPM FIDA. As we saw in the previous lesson, the integration of accounting data is technically implemented using object links. This means that an object link is established between a portfolio item and a controlling object, which is then used to exchange accounting data. In the previous lesson, we studied the path that we need to use in order to create these object links. Currency conversion. Please remember that in the creation of portfolio, we set up the different currency that can be used during the project. So during the financial planning, you can switch between different currencies so that a currency conversion can take place. Conversion rates are maintained in a separate SAP ERP system. SAP has a functionality called SAP Innovation Management. That functionality can be integrated with SAP PPM. Let's review. SAP Innovation Management is a functionality to capture ideas from the community, to evaluate it, and then to implement it, as you can see here. So the idea community is the platform for all employees to create, share, and discuss their ideas and to participate in idea campaigns. An innovation office is a back office for specialists working professionally with ideas and campaigns. So in the innovation office, you filter the ideas that you receive from the community to the ones that could be implemented and can be represent an innovation or business the new business generation utilities for the company. And the mobile web app is for users of SAP Innovation Management who want to use their mobile device to quickly create an idea draft, check their notification, or explore idea lists and campaigns when on the move. Okay. The creation of a link to an idea follows the general steps for object links. It is possible to search for ideas using the idea name or ID, a campaign, or the completed flag. From the hit list of ideas that meet the criteria, the users can select multiple ideas to create multiple object links. So when we establish the object links, what information comes from innovation management? Well, from innovation management, we will receive the idea ID, the idea name, submitter, coach, campaign, phase, and status. And from PPM, we will send date, responsible, and active decision point. The customizing for the corresponding object types, the 0 RPM IDEA in portfolio management is done in the same manner as for the other existing object types for object links. Welcome to this last lesson in SAP PPM integration course. Now it's time to talk about integration with Microsoft Project. No one hesitates that Microsoft Project is one of the most worldwide used software to manage projects. That is why SAP PPM has developed an integration with this tool. The objective is to have in SAP Portfolio Management all kinds of projects in order to provide to the managerial team with online information to support decision-making process. Microsoft Project is used for the operational management of a project. As you can see in this figure, the cost and revenue of project are managed in parallel in FICO. In PPM, you can combine and monitor the project data from Microsoft Project and the financial details from FICO. In addition, you can use PPM for the central administration of the resources. Remember that the strategic project starts with the creation of the project portfolio items. Then we must enter the critical success factors and execute an initial forecast of the required capacities and financial resources, as you can see here in this process. Then the structuring, scheduling, and determination of the required resources of the project are performed in Microsoft Project. So as you can see here, the project is created using Microsoft Project. We do the project planning in Microsoft Project as well, and we perform the project implementation using Microsoft Project. So when we upload project data from PPM or project management, this creates the corresponding project structure, elements, and roles in project management. Then, after the structure and resource requirements are done, the resource manager in PPM can then staff these roles with suitable resources, as we can see here. Please remember that we have studied the way we can assign the resources to the different tasks or checklist items in a project management. The integration of data with the strategic capacity planning allows an aggregate evaluation of portfolio item level and at the level of portfolio buckets. As you can see here, the information goes from a Microsoft project to operational project and then to the strategic project. And here in the strategic project, we can aggregate information to the upper buckets. Cost and revenue planning. The posting of actual cost and revenue are performed in Cost Collector, as you can see here. For example, an internal order in FICO. The Cost Collector is linked to portfolio item in PPM. The financial details can then be transferred to the portfolio item and integrated into a strategic financial planning, as you can see in this figure. So in FICO, we must create the cost collector. We must perform the cost planning, and we should post actual cost to that cost collector. And then, using the integration that we have saw in previous lessons, we will send that information to a strategic portfolio. So in that way, we can perform the integration with Microsoft Project. Well, the last thing that I want to say is thank you very much for watching this video, 3 out of 3, regarding SAP PPM functionality. Now, we have finished this overview. Please don't get away. Be in touch. In the near future, I will upload videos regarding SAP Activate methodology, as well as an overview to teach you in a very few slides all you need to know to implement in your projects. So, please, if you have any doubt or comment, don't hesitate to reach me using my email. Thank you very much and see you soon.